my God, it's the BC3 Amigos. We are back for March. How is everybody doing right now? How you guys doing?
Great.
I'm feeling pretty green.
You feel pretty green. All right. Yes, that is.
I'm green with jealousy over his beads.
It is St. Patrick's Day. Welcome, everybody, and happy St. Patrick's Day for all of our listeners who are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. The BC3 Amigos had a lot of fun last month, and we left our last podcast thinking, you know, we're coming into spring. We're getting out of the snow. We're getting the warm weather. You know, the holidays are coming like St. Patrick's Day. And we thought, you know what? Let's do something on a green note. And we said, why not find out what's going on, you know, in Microsoft and all the things about the agents and many things going on. So we are so delighted and so happy when he said yes to us that we invited Alexander Totovic to come back to us and really talk about the future. Alex, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience knows who you are and what you do.
Oof. I do not remember when the last time I introduced myself, so...
Make it up.
Yeah, dinosaurs as you. I 25, 30 years ago, I started with old versions, Navision era. So, yes, it happened that Navision became my real first software love. And from Navision to Nav, all these days from different perspective, I worked on this product as a partner, and I was an MVP. I was on your side as well, and I know how it looked like. And in one moment, I joined Microsoft. And to be honest, when I had to join Microsoft, I was thinking, oh yes, because in this moment you cannot be an MVP. So it was conflict of interest, and it was one blocker, maybe. Sorry, my voice. I was thinking maybe I will not accept this offer, but it happened that I joined Microsoft. I didn't join this BC Central team. I was on a completely different role, but after some time, I joined BC Central product group, and this is my new beginning in Microsoft. I can say exactly like that because this is completely new experience. Regardless if you are 20% or more in a BC Central, this is completely different when you need to build it. There are a lot of responsibility because this is not one project. This is whatever you are building for everyone. So you need to satisfy everyone, and this is not easy. So this is completely new way and new life for me. So yeah, more or less, yes, 20 plus years experience. Probably people know me in a busy central world.
So I didn't realize you have the same experience as all of us, but we've all been started with Navision.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. All of us, we are definitely dinosaurs. Let's see if we will survive this period, but definitely we are dinosaurs.
I hope they don't kill us all off like they did the dinosaurs.
So, Alex, a lot going on. Business Central is evolving, you know, at a super fast pace right now for all of us, both partners and users. Tell us a little bit about, you know, obviously a lot of people have heard a lot about what's coming out in the upcoming wave. And there's one thing that obviously, you know, with regard to AI and stuff like that, I know there's one thing close to your heart that's coming out. Give us a little, I don't want to call it a teaser because it's not a teaser because the information is out there. A lot of it is out there and stuff. But tell us what's coming out about, you know, the AI pieces that are happening that you're heavily involved in and designing for all of us to use.
I'll try, but before that, I need to admit one thing. We are doing so many different things that sometimes you don't know what your colleagues are doing. And when we prepare for lunch event and all these things, I say, oh, wow, I didn't know for that. So sometimes you have inside information even before me, even if I can see, but you just do not have enough time because you are focused what you want to deliver. And you're trying to give your best. And this is not on my side. I know this is the same for all my colleagues. We are so close what we are trying to deliver. We have collaboration if you're working on something together, but in general, we don't know what others are doing. And in one moment, promise with you, wow, that's so good. So I will talk what is on my desk because I don't want to take some glory to my colleagues. You can invite them. I know there are some of really great functionalities will come in this release, but minimum from my perspective, I will start with non-AI things. So people are always talk, AI only. So let's start from non-AI.
Great.
Oh, good.
We introduced, for example, this release, I can say finally, withholding taxes. And I know this is something what people are asking in almost all countries worldwide. I'm not sure, maybe there are just one digit of countries not using withholding tax for some cases. So probably this is in almost all countries required. So in this release, we will introduce withholding taxes for vendors. And we will work to other types of withholding taxes. So probably something new will come for next wave. But for now, this is one of good functionality. So now, when you have a specific vendor, when you need to withhold something, you can set up if you want to withhold a specific tax amount in a moment when you have when you post invoice, or when you have payment, or what is earlier. So there are a lot of commodity how you can set up. I'm pretty sure that you as MVPs and partners and customers will send us feedback what we can do better, and that's fine. And this is, in the most of cases, this is actually a reason why we do not try to deliver everything in one wave, because this everything will probably based on our wrong assumptions. So we do not want it. We want to build something stable enough, good enough, try to be bug free, and after that to get some feedback and to see what is really the most important for a majority of users. We don't want to waste it will be really wrong wasting our time building something nobody will use or 2% of users will use, instead of investing this time in something what is really important for partners and customers. So this is related to withholding. Second, I think big thing is excise taxes or excise duties, depends how we call them, from continent to continent. If I'm not wrong, the excise duties are more common in the US, but I think in European excise taxes, but regardless, this is the same topic. So we introduced actually excise taxes in a previous wave, but because of sustainability features we needed, we had some European rules, CBA and EPR, and when we started to build it, we said, okay, but in general, in its essence, this is excise taxes. Yes, this is something related to carbon and so on, but in general, this is how excise taxes behave. So let's say, okay, instead of building something carbon related, we build some basic framework for that, and we use only for these two sustainability calculations, but now we extend it. Now you will find excise taxes types, so you can configure it. This is per weight, per volume, per, for example, alcohol volume. There are, if I'm not wrong, 6 types, so you can configure, and then on items or fixed assets, you can configure what is amount for calculation. Then plus we have additional configuration part where you can configure from which entries you want to use, which entries you want to use as a foundation for calculation, because some of excise taxes are calculated in a purchase or manufacturing process. Some of them are based on sales. So you can mark, okay, I want to use item ledger entry, sales and negative adjustment, or I want to use item ledger entry, positive purchase and output, or assembly output and production output. So you are absolutely free. You can configure how you want to calculate and then introduce excise duties on that. Again, there are some limitations there. And we didn't want to make some completely automated, because again, we don't know what you really need. But now, what is easy? If you have items you need to calculate, you can post regularly without any problem. And on the end of month, when you need to report, you can just run and you will get calculated your excise duty you need to pay. So this is what you will get in this release. Again, this is not something what I can say this is completed. It works, so this is good enough. So you can use as a it will be public preview if I'm not wrong for 2 months, but in general this is ready for GA. But I would like to get the feedback, what else you would like to have there, and to prioritize it and to deliver to improve this functionality. Because this is both of these taxes, withholding and excise taxes, they are missing places in the business central earlier. So now we are trying to be much more compliant with different rules across different countries. So what else bigger? Yes, we introduced, and now I forgot exactly naming rules in the US, but this is for fixed asset new depreciation model, bonus depreciation or boosted depreciation. I know in US you have exactly rules how for this. I have on my slide, but sorry, I cannot. I do not remember all of these, but this is important because if you have specific rules you want to use in a moment when you activate, you want to deprecate 30% of your fixed asset, and after that to continue any model you want. So now this is enabled. What else? Yes, we have this self-billing invoicing. I remember I had a communication with Rob what we treat as a self-billing invoice. And in general, this is, I don't know if this is applicable in all countries. I know this is something was started a long time ago in German, but this is applicable, I think, in all countries. In most of cases, when you have big distributors and small customers, distributors, they do not want to waste their time to build invoices. So you can mark your vendor as the distributor, and so you can build sales invoices in its name. So when you post purchase invoice, you do not need to enter external document number. It will be based on number of series. So you can automatically post and have self-billing invoice automatically built, so you can reuse and send to your vendor. Again, this is first release because we want to stabilize this functionality. Now, I know this is not so important for US market, but for Europe and some Asian markets, it's important for invoicing, because right now this is not supported with invoicing. We want to first stabilize, not to make breaking changes after that. And for October, we will introduce invoicing or self-billing as well. So now, there are some smaller probably features here and there. 1099. Some probably you will ask me later about that. So I will not open this Pandora box in this moment. So,
hey, Alexander, we talk about how, and Steve mentioned it earlier, how Business Central is just exploding with functionality. You were in charge of sustainability for a long time, and now they've pulled you away. How do you keep track? How does your team keep track of what's going on? And when you move from one team to the other, pick up where you left off?
It happened that this is still on my desk. We had some reorganization in the team, so in this moment this is still on my desk. But in general, when we move from one feature to sometimes you need to give to someone other to continue with that. I remember when we talked about sustainability, it was my child. But in one moment you cannot control everything. There are so many new features, so you just need to decide. Yes, this child is now grow up. This is a big minimum teenager, so teenager could go to high school to be alone. Let's get from this perspective. But in general, we have a lot of internal communications, and even if I'm not in one moment PM for this functionality, it doesn't mean that I will cut all my responsibilities. So it will still be for sometimes between two PMs. I definitely need to support other PM. It happened when I took responsibility for some other features. So sometimes this is between two PMs, between the PM and engineer. There are a lot of communications. And even after 3 years, it can happen that maybe I had something in my mind and I didn't maybe document properly. So of course, if my colleague is asking, yes, what you try to achieve with this functionality, maybe you didn't finish, of course, I will help. So this is not so written in the rules. In the business central team, we behave as a big family, definitely as a big family. Regardless if this is in our in my Yannick PM team or other PMs or with all business central team, definitely we behave as a family. So if you need the help, you will get this help. So there is no way that any PM will say, oh, sorry, this is not my obligation anymore. This is on yours. So that's it. No, definitely we are supporting each other a lot. So that's it. This is just natural process in the moment. This is not on your desk anymore. Someone else will take this responsibility, and that's it. And it happened with, I don't want to say with all features, but it just happened. Now, for example, I'm responsible for all finance features in this moment. So that's on my desk, and that's it. Sometimes you just need to take responsibility and start to work with that. Personally, even sometimes this is easier to investigate by yourself to get this knowledge, not only asking. I will ask if it will be faster, but in general, when you find something, it's missed because there are a lot of legacy features. You cannot find everything documented. But this is much better when you start to dig and understand what is in the background, because this is real knowledge, and I will not forget it. Because if I only ask someone, I will resolve this right now. If this is something urgent, so I need to resolve in a minute, okay, I will ask. But if I need a real knowledge, I will investigate by myself. So this is much easier to understand what is there. And during this research investigation, you will find some places where you can improve, how you can improve. And this is not who is better, because all of us, we have different perspective. So I'm pretty sure that next PM about sustainability will improve a lot of features there. And this is something I can look for finance as I took responsibility, not because one of us is better or not, but different view. And this is something important, to have different views on the same functionalities. And this is why we need the feedback from your side as well, because we don't know everything and we do not pretend that we know everything. So this is definitely, it will be completely wrong if we try to proclaim ourselves as the smartest persons. So this is so wrong. So we know how much we don't know. So this is very important.
So Alex, let's step back a bit, because you gave our listeners a lot of new features coming out, and I'm super excited. Of course, and you mentioned countries, and certainly the three of us are in the U.S., obviously. So excise tax goes really well with fixed assets, because an automobile pays excise tax in various states, and certainly the equipment pays excise tax in various states that require the taxability behind it. Withholding tax is wonderful, because you have a subcontractor who wants you to withhold their tax and pay their tax bills, especially in states where they're smacking people's hands and they want you to withhold the tax. So that's going to be fun to play with, and stuff like that. And I'm super excited you're getting into finance, which is really where I'm headed to this, because the three of us are smiling. We're secretly smiling in the background. We started a project with another product manager but with changes, as you say, lots of changes going on in the BC team, but the project got halted. So I think I'm going to reach out right after this and forward you a couple of emails, because we really want a big project to be on the top of your plate with regard to the North America, and you'll read it. It came from some of your colleagues. Two of the colleagues have read it, and they know it's, but we want you to read it and put your input into it to see if we can make it happen. But really where I'm going is, and if the future of, obviously, the excise tax and the withholding tax. I mean, this sounds fascinating to me, because you said it's in excise tax can use a fixed asset, or it can use an item if I want it to be an item or something like an R&D item, which potentially could have excise taxes. R&D items that you keep within house have to have excise tax as well. So I can set that I call it the Boolean, obviously, on that, whereby it will calculate the excise tax at any interval. Meaning, what I mean is, like, if I have to pay annual excise tax or quarterly excise tax, I can set it at what interval to calculate off of whatever value that is necessary.
Yes, in general, it works this way. You can decide, okay, this is on you. This is just a journal, so you can decide if this is monthly or quarterly or annually. You can run, it will calculate, it will be registered, you will have a ledger entry for that. It will be marked, so you cannot repeat by mistake for the same period calculation. So this is for now how it works. One of for example, limitation in this moment, we do not have, for example, bounded location. So it works in all locations. So probably there are the places we can improve. It works for now. Again, there is no filter for specific countries. But again, I would like to hear more where you will need or where you would like to have improvements. And when you said about some finance projects, just to know, okay, this is still not published on directions um, sessions, but we will have a round table for future in finance, something like that. I forgot the name, but definitely round table for future improvement in finance. I have few things I would like to discuss with partners. This is not promising, but we will start discussion where we see what should be better in the business central. So let's see. And I'm completely open for any other topic you want to bring. So
Well, it's funny because excise tax, I mean, you're using the word excise tax as excise tax. But the funny thing is, the three of us know this very well, is, you have property, you have real estate tax. So who's to say that I can't use it? Because it's a calculation, remember. That's all. You're giving me the ability to calculate something like a fixed asset building. If I pay real estate, let's say I pay $1 million of real estate tax for a big, massive building every year, who's to say I can't use the excise tax tool to back into a real estate tax and just call it real estate tax? I mean,
in general, you can. Now, this is, probably, maybe some customization will be needed now. I'm trying to recall what we have inside. But as I said, we started with excise taxes framework for something what is not excise tax related. The CBAM and EPR calculation in sustainability. Even now, you will find plastic and sugar taxes. This is pretty common in Europe. This is European Union rules. They are not excise taxes. There are taxes for having sugar drinks, soft drinks. So you need to calculate to pay some sugar tax. This is called sugar tax or plastic tax. It again depends what you have. They're not excise taxes, but you can really easy calculate. You can just say, okay, this is a name. You will name plastic tax or sugar tax, and you will say, okay, I will calculate this based on weight. And that's it. You will configure your items and system will calculate. So this is not only for excise taxes. This is for all excise tax-like calculations.
So, Steve, going back to your idea, we could make an accrual for property tax and at the end of the year, true it up.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
it's like we can have a lot of fun with this feature now. We can go crazy for property. You've got excise for the automobiles that different states have. We have many taxes we pay for.
Only what we see right now that it cannot be as is because of fixed assets. Actually, calculation is when you purchase or create. So from this moment, it will be marked as already calculated, and you cannot repeat.
Well, we could use the fixed asset journal, not an FAGL journal, to at least calculate it.
Yeah, but you can, with some smaller customization or maybe not customization, we can talk. Maybe I just need to enable one specific model of calculation. So this is what I would like to get. If this is something relatively easy, why to make this as customization if we can enable this in a framework? So definitely I would like to see what you need there.
Okay.
Alexander, the fixed asset has those custom 1 and custom 2 fields. We could be using that on an FA journal to make those entries.
Yeah, maybe. So right now, I'm not 100% sure, but definitely I'm open for feedback and to see what we can do to make this much more useful.
It's exciting. I had a client who did specialty fuels. So when you go buy a car, it tells you how many miles per gallon you're supposed to get. That's all done using specialty fuels, not the fuel that we put in our cars, right? There's all these blends and all the big automakers use them. And there's a company in Houston that does a lot of these mixes. And they had to charge tax and pay tax by the gallon, right? Dollars didn't matter. It was based on gallons.
That's exactly. This is based on a volume, on some volume or weight or whatever. So this is based on that. This is not connected with the price or cost. So this is purely based on some specific volume, as a gallon or kilograms, whatever. So this is based on that, and this is in essence. Again, right now you have fixed rate. You can say this is $1 per gallon, or I don't know, 1 cent per gallon, and it will be calculated. What I know, in some rare situations, there are some mixture in calculation. So this is not supported right now. That you will use, for example, fixed amount, 5 cents per gallon plus 3% of. So this is currently not supported. But again, I would like to get the feedback. The biggest problem with potential problem with SMB development is if you try to resolve everything, it will be extremely complicated. So this is all the time pros and cons. You need to make decision for how far we will go with the feature by default, because main idea is to make this relatively easy for majority of our users to make a setup. So this is the most important things. Okay, if it will not install more than 20% of features, this is wrong. But we need to try to cover as more as possible features, but to be relatively easy for 60 to 70% of our customers to make easily setup. If you need more for the last mile, 10 to 20%, the biggest customers, they can pay for IC solution or specific customization for them, and not only pay for. This is not only about money. This is about complexity. But these companies have much bigger IT department. They have more people inside. For them, it will not be a problem if they have complicated setup. But for small companies, if you have 10 users, 15 users, it will be extremely to make so many setups if you need a really simple solution. So this is why we try, let's first go with basics, and then let's see how far we can go with not overcomplicated setup.
I totally agree with that. I feel like users give us the best ideas, right? Because they're in there every day and they see, oh, if we could just have this one thing, look at these 5 other things we could do. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Steve, I cannot believe we've already blown our 30 minutes with Alexander.
I can't believe it. It's like I'm sitting here looking at the clock, and it's like, but I have to ask him one question, because I think the three of us have to ask him this question, because we have lived with this for 2 years. And so Alexander, so I know you went through a lot of changes over the December, January, and even into February, 1099 stuff. So where does 1099 stand from your opinion? We fixed a lot of things. We got things all streamlined now. We're obviously reevaluate. We're working on documentation and other things like that you mentioned. But where do you see it stand? What do you think, if anything, might be in wave 2, not so much wave 1 anymore? So looking towards the end of the year when we have to file again. So what do you see?
Definitely, whatever will come, it will be in wave 2. This is not for a wave 1. So, regardless how it sounds, but I think we stabilize it. All child problems, we had it, and now this is stabilized. And the biggest problem was, I don't want to use these excuses, but it was not on us. This communication with Iris. I don't want to point to anyone, so I don't want to point into not the wrong, but in any direction right now. It was not Microsoft, but again,
I'll say it. It wasn't. It really wasn't, because we couldn't talk to it, and we found after a total investigation, we found out it wasn't even on. So it wasn't a one-sided equation here.
Yeah, but regardless, if it was our side or not, people trust us, and everyone pointing into Microsoft why we didn't resolve, why we didn't see it earlier. So yeah, even if it was not technically on us, I don't want to use this as excuse. So this communication integration level with the Iris finally works, already confirmed. So for the future, it will be regular. It will just work. So even if it doesn't work, we still have it doesn't work. I don't mean it doesn't work, but if by any reason you do not want to have communication with Iris directly, you want to do it manually, you can download in this moment file, and you can upload manually. If I'm not wrong, but I think I'm not wrong, it will be deprecated in this year. So file will be completely deprecated. So you will have option automatically to A, as we have in the business center, to send information to Iris or manually to Iris. So instead of Fire, you will upload manually to Iris. So we will change this functionality to download Iris file. This is only about different format. And this is not only for if you do not want, but if you are on-prem users, this is only one option, because for on-prem users, we cannot establish this connection with Iris. So you can download and manually upload this file there. And now question, why do we not support anymore printing or pre-printing forms? I know some people are complaining why we do not have, some others do not. When I calculated in the previous period, more people asked us why we support it, because this is complex, this is complicated. And now let's look critically in this way. You can use pre-printed forms only if you have less than 10 forms, not 1099 forms, all IRS forms per year. So this is probably less than 5% of all users in the States, less than 10 any IRS forms. So probably almost no customers is using a pre-printed form for reporting. Now there is another option. Yes, but I want to use pre-printed forms to send to my vendor. This is not obligation by law. There is nothing about that you must print on pre-printed forms. You just need to provide the same package of information. So what do we have here? You have integration automatically if you're cloud with Iris, or if you're not, if you're on-prem, you can download and upload manually your file. For sending to your vendors, you have substitution of 1099 forms. So all information we have on 1099, pre-printed 1099, we will have on blank paper. So this is easier actually for all of users. You can just take your blank paper, you can print it if you want to print and you want to send by mail. So you can print it and that's it. You don't need to order, you don't need to wait, and then you need to configure your printer 1 millimeter left or right, up and down. So it will be really easy. You can pre-print. And what is even more important, if something is not as you wanted, you can configure printing information by yourself. You can go into configuration page. You can add, change. Even you do not need to wait for Microsoft if something is necessary to be changed. We will do it. But if you want faster, especially for on-prem when we do not provide updates automatically, you can do it by yourself. You can just copy setup from demo data on a cloud, and you can copy and it will work. So this is much easier. And now, option for sending. People said, I don't want to send by email. Okay, print it. This is possible to print. You do not need pre-printed form to print it. Print it and send by mail. But now we are opening another part. Why we do not want to send by email? Security. Okay, you can hide your TIN number. You can decide in your setup for vendor a TIN number or for your TIN number as well. So you have already this problem necessarily solved. So you can hide TIN numbers. Okay, vendor must provide consent. This is now by the law. So you cannot send by email if vendor didn't provide the consent. So you need to mark consent has been provided, and you can send by email. Now, I do not like to say promising, but you asked me what will be in next wave. So now we are focused for next wave to enable new feature, what Kenny introduced some 6-8 months ago, password protections. When we started to work, actually when he started to work, we collaborate. So we are talking to each other. So we are still good friends, and we decided this is really important. Especially one of the first reasons was 1089. So idea is, I still do not know technically how we will do it, but the idea is to provide this password protection for 1099 files. So this is additional security model for sending via email. So I trust people will start trusting into this email sending, especially with the password protection. So why not? Because only what you need to do, if you have consent, you just need to click send to all. And that's it. instead of printing, putting in envelope, sending, going to mail, this is so complicated. This is time consumed. This is wasting your money to make all these things. You just need to click send by email, and that's it. It will be sent with a password protection. Okay, you can agree how you will share your password with your vendors so they can open. Nobody will know what is inside. I think there is nothing more, because even on a mail, on envelope, someone can open it.
Sure.
But this is the maximum protection you can provide regarding this is physical or electronic document. So yes, this is something what we are planning to introduce in a Wave 2. If something else appears, so now I don't know about changing regulations, so we will update it. But from a bigger investment, this is what we are planning to introduce.
Alexander, I had a guy show me one time. He had a sealed envelope and there was a document inside. And he stuck this little device in and he rolled up the document and slid it out without ever opening the envelope. Took that, made a change to it, happened to be a check, rolled it back up, slipped it back in the envelope, still unsealed, unrolled it. It looked like that never was opened, but it's not the real thing. It's crazy what people can do. So I appreciate all. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way to fix it all, but you're making some great strides. I think our biggest thing is we're all creatures of habit, right?
That's right.
So as business owners, it's like, I need to print my pink 1099 forms. But when you told them about the emails, they were like, oh, they were excited. Clients were excited.
Hey, Steve, that's not the question I thought you were going to ask. I thought you were going to ask the question, how do we reserve time with Alexander at Direction so we can put some ideas into him?
I know for a fact that that the Microsoft team, the team leader is setting aside rooms for MVPs to speak to the product managers. The room has not been announced yet, but they were planning it. That I do know is it's already on her calendar.
Yeah, but in general, if I'm not on my session, I will be on our booth. So
that's right, the booth.
You can just stop there. I do not have any other plan. Okay, maybe I will be on some other session if I think this is really important for me to be there. But in general, I will spend probably 50% of my time somewhere on a booth, so you can find me easily, and we can.
I have a shopping list.
Doesn't he always? Yes, doesn't he always?
But now I need to steal you a few minutes. Because I mentioned at the beginning, I will start with non-AI. But I need to, not to close, you will close when you decide it's enough, but I want to mention one AI feature. I cannot go into details right now. I need to be very careful what I will expose, because a big announcement will be on a keynote in the direction of North America. But okay, this is all from tomorrow. It will be in our release plan. So there is nothing hidden there, but I need to be careful what I will say about that. And this is new expense agent. So this is something what we built in a so short period. And I'm proud right now. I will not say about myself. I will talk about my team, our team in a Microsoft who built it, because when you see what is inside, I can say I'm really proud what we succeed in such a short period. And why I say that? Because when we say expense agent, whatever agent we say, this is an agent. But this time, this is not about agent. You cannot agentize something what does not exist in a business central. So that means we had to create in a parallel full expense management and agent. So this is completely combined investment from our side, from application to platform to all possible teams involved into that. And for the first time, we deliver functionality completely AI driven. By AI driven, I mean we started from AI. So we didn't think how it will be in the BD Central, what we will have in BD Central. It was, okay, we must build something in the BD Central on the end. But we started to think what AI can do. And let me, this is model-driven and eval-driven product. First time completely model and eval-driven product. And I just wanted to share with people to understand what does it mean eval-driven. So no feature is enabled if we didn't pass all evaluation tests. So all our evaluation tests they will be completely transparent, percentage of success, and we have internal control. So what is minimum of success before we go to publicly. So it really works in a background. And what else will be important? You do not need to be BD Central user to use expense agent. So this is one of big things. Now I cannot go more in the technical details, but definitely you do not need to be BD Central users if you're using agent only. It will work automatically. It will recognize everything from your receipt or invoice, whatever you scan, or you don't need to scan. It will understand, categorize, itemize if needed, provide additional information, even mark if something is not compliant. So many features will be inside. And yes, now it will be in a private preview in a few days. Definitely in a few from next week. Actually, it will be we will start organizing meetings for private preview, limited number of users. But after directions, it will be from May. The most probably from May. Let's say 99% from May. It will be in public preview in. Yes, private preview is only for US and UK, but public preview will be for all English-speaking countries. So this is our plan. So we will introduce a few more features for this first public preview. But even for this public preview, I would like to explain that this public preview is ongoing process. So in public preview, we will deliver some set of features, but it will be ongoing. So every month you will get something new. And when I say something new, you will not wait 3-4 months to get some small feature. There are a lot of big features we are planning to introduce because we want to cover with this functionality, with this agent, 90+% end-to-end scenario. So it will be agent that can work automatically from the beginning until the end without human. When I say without human in the loop, it doesn't mean without human in the loop. It depends on a users how you will set up, where you want to be included. Or, for example, if you have paper receipt, you need to scan. So nobody can scan instead of you, so you must scan if this is paper receipt. But if this is not paper receipt, system can automatically collect instead of you. So it will be a really end-to-end agent covering all expense agent process, expense management process by the agent. As I said, more than 90%. It depends actually from user to user. It depends from complexity of a company, but it will cover end-to-end expense management process. So it will be in a BD Central. So you will find all these entities in a BD Central, but it will work primarily outside of BD Central. So agent will be different. So this is the last thing I can say. You will not see standard agent dashboard in a BD Central. It will not agent pane in on the right side in a BD Central. This time is different. It works outside the BD Central because expenses are in general outside the BD Central. If you're a truck driver, you will not have your laptop or your BD Central with you. You are not BD Central user. You just tank your fuel into your truck and you want to scan, and that's it. You don't know what is BD Central. You don't need to know what is BD Central. You need to scan and share with the BD Central, and that's it. And everything else should be done automatically. So sometimes you can be BD Central user, sometimes not. Probably the most of users will not be natively BD Central users. So this is how we built it. So again, proud on that. Even if you look only what is inside the BD Central, this is almost 30 tables, if I'm not wrong, in the BD Central, new tables in the BD Central. So this is full module in the BD Central, but completely different design, as I said, from AI first. Yes, I know that some of you will see it sooner, and minimum it will be on direction North America. We will have a few sessions about that, what is in the background, how we build it. So we will share much more information there.
Exciting.
I'm so excited, man. I Kim, I'm thinking, start doing our expense reports. I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this over the next several months.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we're at, we've been about 45 minutes talking here, and Alex has given us like a plethorage of information about the future and all the new features coming out here. But I think we want to turn the tables here a little bit, because we always like to do this at the very end. We have a little fun with this. So we'll obviously start with our guest, Alexander. Alexander, enough with talking work. What do you do to have fun outside of work? Tell us a little bit about that, so our audience here knows how Alex keeps, his brain and mind going here outside of work.
I try to run or drive bicycle. You know me, I broke my toe last year, so I couldn't do it for some time. But now I'm going back into my condition. But I try to be good grandfather, as I'm grandfather of one small guy of 4 years and a half. So I'm spending the most of my time outside of work, playing different games. In the most of these games, I'm either monkey or horse or something like that. But that's really good. That's really good how you can be in different roles when you're a grandpa, and this is different experience, and I really enjoying that. So where I spend the most of my time probably being a grandpa.
That's fantastic. I love it. I mean, Kevin, see, you're laughing because you know what he's talking about. So.
Oh yes, it's a full-time thing.
All right. So I know we're pretty much getting close to the end of our day here. For those listening, certainly watch for obviously some of the Microsoft announcements coming up about Wave 1. I'm sure you'll see some of the videos Alex will be in. You can always catch the BC3 Amigos at Directions North America in April and Dynamics Con in May in Vegas. So please look for us there. We'll be speaking and chatting with everybody, in terms of that. And certainly in the fall, with the fall conferences, you'll catch us at some of the fall conferences and road shows that are coming up. Alex, a big thank you from the BC3 Amigos. We love having you. We definitely will invite you back, probably when it comes time for 1099s, because let me tell you something, here in the U.S., we want to be prepared this year, so we're probably going to invite you back more towards November, maybe December, right before the month before. Obviously, everybody's got to file in January, the 1099s, but a big thank you. And other than that, everybody have Rob, any green...
Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Top of the morning to y'all, and top of the evening, too.
All right, gang. A big thank you to everybody, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you for having me, and really pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander.